between Arsenal and Chelsea. We've got so much to talk about with my guests today. Delighted to say that Leon Osman and Shay are in the studio. Welcome along, guys. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk about the Christmas period. 4 games for most of the Premier League sides. Still got 1 to go as yet. Enjoy it?
I did. I enjoyed it more than when I played. That's for sure. You know, to be sat and watching games like last night and games over the Christmas period. There's a worry. I felt there was more nil-nils than we're used to. But, you know, when you see games like last night, it just makes you realise how good the standard actually is.
What about you, Shay?
Yeah, I mean, it's refreshing. It's my first Christmas off as well from all the years I've been playing. But it's different because you know the lads are in training Christmas Day and all that kind of stuff. But it's nice to sit back from the outside and do a bit of work or whatever. But to watch the games from afar and stuff and enjoy them and stuff. And, you know, you see the teams in the German league and Italian all on the beaches and stuff like. But what we do in Christmas if we did in Boxing Day football and all these busy
it's
Christmas.
Better, isn't it?
Oh, it's much better. Much
better. Any particular memories from your time playing over this period?
Well, I did enjoy them, but I did have a bad memory one Boxing Day when I played Sunderland at home. I received the ball off Tim Howard of a pass. I think I fell over it on the edge of our box.
Too much turkey.
Yeah, Key stole it from me, went round Tim Howard, who brought him down. Tim got sent off. I then got subbed for a keeper to replace me. And we lost the game 1-0.
Happy Christmas, happy Christmas.
So not the best of Christmas
I actually
memories.
scored on Boxing Day once against Chelsea. My son had been asking me, what do you want for Christmas? I said, oh, just a goal against Chelsea would be nice. I actually scored against Chelsea and won 4-2. What about yourself, Shay?
Well, we trained on Christmas Day at 3 o'clock, and Bobby Robson was the manager at the time, and he goes, I want you to, on the training pitch at 3 o'clock.
This is on Christmas Day?
Christmas Day, he says, because normally you come in a couple of hours before, get ready and all. He says, I don't care, just as long as you're on the pitch for 3 o'clock. So we're walking out, Michael Owen wasn't there yet, so we're walking out literally 10 to 3, 5 to 3, so he's late. We're all thinking, he's getting fined definitely by the gaffer. Like, next thing, hear this helicopter coming and literally lands on the pitch next to where we're training, gets out with his full Newcastle training kit on, his boots were on and everything. All right, happy Christmas, lads. Like,
what was your reaction?
It was just, sorry, just clapped him on, thinking, what can you say? He's not late, you know what I mean? Just one of them.
Only way to travel.
He only man to get away with it, but
it's
yeah,
the only way to travel, isn't it? Let's talk about last night's game. I think that Arsenal-Chelsea, let's have a look at the teams. Finished 2-2, but what a terrific game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Yeah, you know, turning on last night, hoping that it was going to be an entertaining game, hoping both teams didn't stifle each other, and we got just what we wanted. I thought the front three of Arsenal were fantastic, the interchange, the movement, and I thought Chelsea were very good going forward as well.
Are they as good as anybody when they're playing well? As we've seen, I mean, that front three I'm talking about, Sanchez, Lacazette and Ozil.
Yeah, well, we've seen this year already when David De Gea went there with Man United, was man of the match, because they battered Man United, and only for David De Gea, and even to a certain degree, Courtois, some of the saves we'll look at them a bit later, but he was fantastic last night as well. And as you say, with these front three, they cause so many teams so many problems. And Ozil, for me as well, gets a lot of stick from a lot of quarters. And I thought last night he was fantastic.
They've actually been involved in some brilliant games this season at the Emirates, haven't they, Arsenal? First game of the season against Leicester, finished 4-3. They drew with Liverpool, 3-3. This one, 2-2. The Man United game. There's been some terrific games at the Emirates, hasn't there?
There has, and you know, you see that front three and you know they're always going to score goals. They're going to create chances. They're going to be in games whether they can see goals. What's making Arsenal so entertaining is they can't keep clean sheets.
Well, those 4 games I've just talked about, they only won one of them.
Yeah, you know, that's what I'm saying. They
can't.
They don't defend well. I don't know if it's they don't defend with enough bodies or maybe they've not got the right players they're happy with. But for whatever reason, they're making great games because they can go either way.
Does that back three convince you when you look at it?
No, just looking at it now, it doesn't convince me at all. I mean, Holding, Chambers, Mustafi, as they will break the goals down shortly, but it doesn't convince me. You know, Czech again made some great saves last night behind that, and they're making too many sort of errors and making it too easy for teams, I think, to score.
What about Jack Wilshere back in the team? He had a spell last season, didn't he, at Bournemouth, where it didn't go brilliantly for him. He was a bit in and out. But this season, he's had a bit of a run of games now, and he looks fit and stronger, doesn't he?
He does, you know, and he's starting to look the player that we're all expecting him to be. He's had a very unfortunate time with injuries. He certainly suits this Arsenal team. His style suits this, and he's been. It took him a while to get that run of games under him. He's now played 5, 6 on the run, and when you do that, you usually start to see the best of players.
Did you expect him to come back into an Arsenal shirt and play as well as he has done in this last month or so, particularly after last season?
Yeah, probably not, Matt, to be honest.
He's only got 6 months left of his deal as well.
To be honest, I thought we went to Bournemouth last. It didn't work out for me. I had an injury towards the end of the period, but I felt that he was just seeing his sort of contract out at Arsenal, and then where does he go from here? But you've great credit to Jack Wilshere, the way he's he's turned it around. He's played so many games now in the bounce, and obviously got the first goal last night, which a huge important goal as well. And he's back to, I think, where we all think he can be, and leading into a World Cup year as well, Matt. If he can stay in the Arsenal team to the summer, he could have a big part to play.
Will he get a new Arsenal deal, do you think, with 6 months left?
I would expect so.
Yeah.
I think, you know, even if he hadn't been starting to get this run of form that he's had, I think you can't let Jack Wilshere go on a free. You know, he's a good player. If you can get him fit like this, if you can get him up and running, then you've got an incredible player in your hands.
He might not sign. They could be losing a number of players on free transfer. Alexis Sanchez, another one.
I mean, well, Arsenal seems to be having history with regards to letting players' contracts run down, which is very naive on their part, I feel. But you know, if they can keep Wilshere, and being in this type of form, then it's a no-brainer.
He might not have been on the pitch. We'll have a look at that in just a moment. But let's have a look at his goal from last night. A typical Jack Wilshere goal, do you think?
Well, it involves passing and moving and find himself in pockets of space. You know, he's always thinking, look, he's moving again, trying to find a new position. Get a little bit of luck off the Morata deflection, but, you know, his instinct, his reaction to realise he's got to hit it first time, and the connection, you know, it's top class.
And this guy, Kante, for Chelsea, we recognise him as one of the best defensive midfield players. He actually runs off him as well, gets on the back of him.
Which isn't easy,
no.
You know, in what we've seen from Kante. But, you know, just that little movement there, he goes behind Kante, and Kante can't help but follow the ball, and that's what gets him in the space. Okay, they do get a little bit of luck, but it's his movement and his intelligence to be in there.
And fitness levels now, to make those runs beyond the strikers as well. You know, he's been playing a little bit within himself, a little bit deeper, if you like, but to get those runs forward as well.
Yeah, he's looking incredibly strong nowadays, isn't he?
I think you see him even move his top off and stuff, ending some games. He's absolutely chiseled, he's ripped. Like, I don't think there's ever a problem with his fitness. I think he's a really fit guy. But the problem is with his injuries, of course. And he has had so much bad luck. And you just... Any player, I feel sorry for his injuries. You know, you feel for them because they're so desperately wanting to be on the pitch. And I feel for Jack Wilshere. And if he can, as I say, stay fit to the summer and keep in that form, then why not?
It's mad, though. You see him going into any tackle nowadays, whether he's going in for a tackle or he's receiving a tackle, and you're wincing a little bit, hoping.
But he's not holding back, though, is he?
No, and that's a great sign. And as Shay just said, he's starting to look stronger in every game. He's looking more powerful. He's making more forward runs, and that's always a good sign.
He might not have been on the pitch. I think just moments before his goal, he could have been sent off. First of all, have a look at his yellow card. And I don't think there's any arguments over this, is there?
No, I think he'll admit himself as a yellow card.
Getting away from him.
Yeah.
Dives in strong, isn't it?
It's an easy decision, I think, for the referee, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, he's going for the ball, but he's just Fabregas is quicker, and you know, it's in the modern day football, it's a simple.
But then you could argue he learned from, because maybe pulled that tackle, he might get injured from that tackle. You know, in the past, he's getting too many injuries.
And is this a dive? Should it have been a second yellow?
Yeah, most probably. It's one of them now where he just touches it past him and he leaves his leg there to be hit.
Rather, a good angle, this man.
I think this is the best angle because you're looking at the referee and what he sees.
Yeah.
And actually, as we play it on very slowly, you've got Kante and Fabregas who just obstruct his view. And I think if he can't see it clearly enough, he can't give the decision, can he?
Yeah, it's the right decision from the referee.
If we play it on very slowly, look, when he makes the contact now look at his view. He can't see that, can he?
He can't see it. He needs help from his fourth official or linesman or whatever they call themselves these days. But I don't think as you've got to bang on. If he can't see it, he can't give it.
Yeah.
But that's even braver from the referee to give him fair credit there, because usually you see the motion, you see it looks like a free kick.
So he could easily have given a free kick.
He could easily have given a free kick, but he didn't. Not only did he not give the free kick, he didn't do the booking. So
he's probably saved really by Kante and Fabregas getting across the view of the referee.
But, you know, if he had seen it and had sent them off, you know, Chelsea probably would have went on to win the game, and you'd be talking about Jack Wilshere. You know, was he stupid to do that? Should he have done that? And maybe he has to cut that out of his game as well.
Could have been a different story, because he goes on to score as well, of course, just after. What about his England chances then, Jack Wilshere? Do you think he's got a chance of being in the squad? Arsene Wenger keeps talking him up, saying he should be in it.
I do. I think, you know, that the style that Gareth Southgate seems to want to adopt, you know, getting two players up front, I do feel that England have defended deep and have lacked that midfield link. You know, there's been Eric Dyer's been in there and Livermore, and they've lacked that passer, that guy who can link defence to attack, and he's certainly one player in the England squad who can do that.
Ref was in the news because he obviously didn't give a second yellow for Jack Wilshere. What he did do was give Chelsea a penalty. Did he get this one right?
I think he did. I think it's a little bit softer, to be honest, but when you see it full speed, you go, I can't believe you get a penalty for that. But when you slow it down from different angles, for me, I think he's just about got it right. I think Bellerin's a bit naive in a sense that Hazard's felt the contact has gone down. You know, had that been maybe, I don't know, an Irish forward or an English guy, might have been a bit more honest and stayed on his feet. But once he feels, once he feels the contact, he's going to ask he's giving the referee a question. Well, is it a penalty or not?
Now it's in slow motion. We'll play it on really slowly.
Yeah.
And this is the one where, is there a touch or not? And it's minute, isn't it? If there is a touch, it is.
I do think, though, you know, that is I know it's a loud stadium, but the referee will have heard the contact as well.
But the reaction? Wasn't that hard, was it?
Yeah.
No, but, I mean, he's trying to get his team a penalty, and, you know, players are subject to retrospective action these days, so he also probably knows that he may get punished later on, but I do think it's a penalty.
So you think it's a penalty?
I think it is the right decision, but you say Hazard's holding his shin or something, or his calf or something. He's not touched him anywhere near that. Maybe the bottom of his foot at best, but I think just the right call.
And he took it pretty coolly as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Czech's had a bit of stick because he's not saved a penalty, and I think it's 14 in a row.
Is that what it is?
Arsenal, yeah, something as mad as that, yeah, and you know, he sends them a wrong away. I think as a goalkeeper, you go and runs like that. Sometimes I had it for most of my career, to be honest, but you know, sometimes you go on a run that you can't save one, and Czech's on that run at the minute, I'm afraid.
Arsene Wenger really not happy about that decision after the game. It wasn't the only one, was it, that he's been unhappy about over the Christmas period
it comes
as well.
off the back of the
What about this one?
Comes off the back of this one at West Brom, which is, you know, from the angle the referee sees it, I can understand maybe why he gives it, but it's so close. For me, it's not a penalty. I'd be devastated if I'd run round.
Well, he's not stuck his arm out, has he, Callum Chambers? He's brought his arm in.
I think he's lent on a wee bit of.
You think, so do you think it's a penalty then?
No, I don't think I think it's very generous, and you can see Arsene Wenger, the coat's coming off. But I think it's the angle the referees. We see at different angles all the time. One angle, no chance of penalty. The referee's angle, he's running down the pitch. His arms actually come up a little bit like that, and Rodriguez is right next to the referee, and he's nearly in his face going like this. It's a penalty. So you can see why he's giving him, but you can see how angry Wenger is as well.
He always sees the ones that go against his team. He doesn't really see the ones that go for his team either, because he's been fortunate a little bit. This one at Burnley earlier in the season.
I'm not sure any manager really sees what goes for him. They only remember the ones that go against. But yeah, this is very similar. It's a generous penalty. I can see why it's given, but you know, there's minimal contact, and you know, Ramsey was never going to get the ball, so. You know, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. But as you say, he can be very selective over his.
To be fair to the referees, they have such a difficult job, man. It's very difficult for them.
Well, it happens so quickly.
Well, it happens so quickly, and they see it once. We see it 5, 6 times, different angles, slow motions, like highlighting.
And we're still sometimes not 100% sure.
With this VAR coming in and stuff, and then us three could be standing here. Do you think I was a penalty? You say yeah, you say no, and I say, boy, I don't know. So what happens then? Up to you, ref. So we'll go with your decision. It's all.
We're not actually sure at the moment how VAR is going to work. I think it's being brought into the FA Cup this weekend, isn't it? So we'll perhaps have a look, see how it works this weekend, and then maybe discuss it later on in the season. But the debate's never going to go away, is it, over those sort of decisions?
No, and I'm not optimistic about how it will work out, the VAR. As Shay said, there's so many grey areas, there's so many opportunities for disagreement with each other that, you know, I think it should be used on fact. You know, is it offside? Is it over the line? And after that, you've got to give the referees the benefit of the doubt.
Well, we'll wait and see. I think this is one of my favourite goals over the Christmas period. Marcus Alonso, I think 6 goals now in the Premier League this season. I thought it was a fantastic goal. And where he starts from as well, in his left wing-back position, if you like, to get himself across the near post, I think he's terrific. Niles probably could do a little bit better in stopping the cross. Morata probably should make that run, you would think, across the near post. But it's the left wing-back. We'll pause it, we'll start it, and we'll have a look. This is him, right on the touchline on that far side. Fabulous ball out to Zappacosta, isn't it?
Well, that's the first thing you've got to say. What a ball by William. And I think Maitland-Niles, probably the first occasion he was beaten down that side all night. I thought he had a pretty good game, but you look in the middle.
Now here we're thinking, Morata, make this run across the near post, and Alonso's going to make this run at the far post. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, and you thought actually the run he makes it even more difficult for Hector Bellerin to pick him up.
Yeah, well, you know, if they make the runs you'd expect, Morata to the front post, then Bellerin can track Alonso all the way. As it happens, Alonso realises Morata's not making the run. He shows intelligence by attacking the space, and that stops Bellerin being able to follow him into that space, and Mustafi's then on his heels, can't get near it.
What about the two defenders here, Mustafi and Holding? Could these two do better? Mustafi, what do you think, Shay?
You could argue that Holden should be back there, cutting off the line and into that space.
Yeah.
But my biggest concern is Mustafi. He's watching the ball. He's ball watching, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't know who's coming. He doesn't come who's coming on his right shoulder. He's one of the most experienced defenders Arsenal have at the minute, and he's closed off to the whole thing.
But even when the ball does come in, it actually goes past Holding's foot about what, a yard away from him. He could. I mean, it comes quickly, doesn't it?
It does.
He has a decision to make.
I do think he could adjust his position. You know, the old saying is you don't let anything go across you, anything go in between you and the goalkeeper. And two of Arsenal's players there who should both be dealing with it have allowed it to happen.
And Maitland-Niles has allowed the cross to come in as well. So actually you could argue there's been 3 defensive mistakes really for this.
Yeah, but to be fair to him, he's not a left back. He's a more attacking left-sided player, and he's playing out of position to a certain degree. And he's a young player. He's learning the game and stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, Mustafi, especially the leader at the back, I think can do more.
Now we were saying earlier he's scored 6 Premier League goals this season. I'm not sure he can count here. 5, 6. I'm sure that's 7. Isn't that not 7?
That's 6 in Spanish, I think.
Is that not 7?
I think his thumb's stuck up. I'm just going to say his thumb's stuck in the thumbs up position.
Maybe it's just a Spanish 6 even. But how good's he been as well for Chelsea over the last couple of seasons?
Fantastic. You know, in the position he's adopted, he's given them so much attacking, defending. He can do both. He gets into the box. And that's not even mentioning his set-piece quality, which is absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, I remember him going to Bolton, I think it was, all them years ago, and wasn't quite sure about him. But since he's gone to Chelsea, he's been absolutely
suits in the back 3, doesn't it? The fact that he's given that licence to get forward and make that run that was just seen from left wing back on the touchline right across that.
I mean, it's amazing his career, as Leon says, from Bolton. He was, I don't know, okay player perhaps. We didn't stand out, went away again, and then they've signed him and thought maybe 30 million or whatever it was, a lot of money. I think that's a lot of money for Alonso, who used to be at Bolton, but he's come into the team, and yeah, he's one of the main starters now for sure. And as we say, just at the end, we mentioned his set plays as well for goalkeepers. He's phenomenal at set play taking as well.
Yeah, we thought that might be game over. Chelsea getting the 3 points. Antonio Conte was celebrating on the touchline. But not to be. Hector Bellerin popped up with a vital equaliser.
He did, and it was good pressure from Arsenal. You know, a great ball there from Wilshere, and not a bad ball by Mustafi, but Chelsea were getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
The goal looked like it was coming. Arsenal were forced
in actual fact, though, in this sort of situation, do you not think that actually they're in a good position here, Chelsea, when the cross is coming in? They've got enough bodies behind the ball, they've got protection on the edge of the box. They're actually not in a bad position, are they, when that comes in?
No, they're not. You know, they seem set up, but, you know, Arsenal were on the front foot. Arsenal were desperate to get that goal, ready to attack anything that moves. And, you know, we highlighted Kante losing a battle before, and he's just in the wrong position, just a yard off Bellerin. But
some finish, though.
I was going to say, take nothing away from Bellerin. What a fantastically controlled finish that is in a precious circumstance.
He just passed it in, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a great finish. I mean, Bellerin's mixed emotions tonight, giving away a penalty, and then to finish the game off in the last kick of the game, basically. He finished like a centre forward. It was I was happy for him because it was such one of them emotional nights. I mean, it's a great game to watch as well. But for him personally, he finished like that was great.
Had to be good, didn't it, to beat Courtois? And we'll come to that in just a moment, because he is impressive, wasn't he, Courtois?
Yeah.
But that wasn't the end of the action, really, because Morata, who'd had a mixed night to say the least, had a chance late on, which you're thinking he should really score and win the game.
Well, you talk about players in the past, Costa, Drogba. Would they have missed that chance? Because Morata's their replacement, basically, and my answer would probably be no. So for me, he started his Chelsea career really well, but at the minute he seems his confidence is lacking, and yes, a good save from Czech, but it's a save you'd expect him to make it straight at him.
Someone was saying to me he's got an 8% success rate with his finishing, with his feet. And with his head, it's in the 20s, so better in the air.
Well, he showed that last night in the chances he had and in his all-round game. I think you were very generous saying he had a mixed night. I thought he had a pretty poor night. But in the chances that he had last night, he didn't look assured. He didn't fill you with confidence that he was going to score them goals. And you may put that down to an off night, but the stats speak for themselves. Well,
you said he's had a shocker. I suppose this will back it up a little bit as well, because some of the chances he had were really good, weren't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what Holding and Chambers were doing. No. How he got into that.
I'll tell you what, I'll just pause it here, because I want to ask Shay. Shay. I'm not sure what he's doing here, but I just want to ask Shay. This starting position from Petr Cech, is that the right starting position? Is he?
Yeah, for me, he's fine. I think
not high enough.
Well, you could argue he's a couple of yards out, but I still don't think he can come for the ball.
Right.
I don't know what, as Leon exactly said, what these two centre halves are doing here.
How does he get through the middle?
Chambers seems to have just let it go, and he's actually, instead of Chambers tracking back, instead of Chambers running that way to try and go back and defend it. He's actually started running out this way.
Yeah.
For some unknown
Well,
reason.
I think he's thinking that Petr Cech's going to come and get the ball.
I know that he's thinking, but
he's thinking, come on then.
Yeah, but Chambers can't make Cech's mind up for him. Chambers has got to go as a defender. And
Cech's goalkeeping, standing up. He stood up a long time, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good save. Any save in a one-on-one situation is a very good save. But Morata just, he just feels as if he's lacking so much confidence from the goal. Them big chances he should be scoring.
Wonderful pass from Cesc Fabregas outside of his boot.
Fantastic
in behind.
pass and great strength.
Pace to get away from him.
Great strength, but at no point, just like the previous chance, I don't think he ever got the ball where he wanted it to be to get a shot away. He kept moving a touch wide in that situation. He couldn't get the ball out of his feet in the previous situation. And he goes to try and chip it over and just doesn't get his foot round him.
Where are we with Morata? Is he top class? Is he the ideal replacement for Diego Costa? Sure enough, he goes to Atletico Madrid and makes his debut last night, scores after, I think, 8 or 9 minutes. Morata has that sort of night. Where are you with Morata and the start he's made?
Well, I do think he's a top-class striker. I do think he's got a lot of ability. He's got a lot of technique. He's got enough power, but big strikers score big goals in big games. And at the moment, look, going on last night, he's not done that for Chelsea.
Shay?
Well, I think the jury's still out, Matt, to be honest. I think he started pretty well his career. Well, he come when he didn't start the first few games. He sort of got gradually took into the team by Conte. And I still think the Chelsea fans and even the Premier League fans around the world are probably saying the jury's still out. Is he the next Drogba? Is he the next Costa? I don't know.
Technically, he looks a really top player.
I think his movement might be better than them guys I mentioned. But as Leon says, when it comes down to the big moments, and they're not like half chances, Matt. They're like proper chances for any top centre forward at any big club. And he should be taking at least one of them.
Do you think the fact that he's now the #1 striker, there's a huge reliance on him?
Yeah, but I think that's
he's never been that previously.
Yeah, but if I was the #1 goalkeeper at any club or a country I've been, that made me feel better. Made me feel I was the man.
More confident.
Yeah, more confident. Not the opposite thing. Oh my God.
Well, clearly he doesn't really fancy Batshuayi, so Morata is his main man. Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah, but to be
no competition. Maybe there's no one pushing him.
Possibly, but sometimes. You have to drive yourself, whether there's competition in the ranks or not. You drive yourself. You want to score at the big chances. You want to score in the big games. And as you said, maybe if he's probably used to sitting out the big games and he comes in and scores against the minnows, but he's now got to be considered world class. He's got to score.
You almost feel as though if he'd come off the bench, he might have scored that chance late on,
potentially,
rather than starting.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Conte does now in the transfer window. Obviously, it's open now, and he's talking about he didn't get the right targets he wanted in the summer. He needs to get money to get his players in. Now, will the one of them players be a centre forward? It'll be a very interesting few weeks at Chelsea to see who he brings in. Yeah,
it will. The jury might be out on Alvaro Morata, not out on Courtois in goal. No. He was outstanding, wasn't he?
No, and he's been linked with a move away from Chelsea to Real Madrid as well, because I still think there's an issue there with the goalkeeper. But this is one of the saves of the season here.
That comes so quickly at him, doesn't it?
I love his reaction as well.
I think if we just have a look at this, there's actually no backlift from Alexis Sanchez.
And it's Cahill, and
look at this. There's no backlift. He just toe pokes it so quickly at that goal. And
we're slowing this down as well.
We're slowing it down.
Slow-mo, like when you're in the goal and that's coming at you full pelt, like that is a phenomenal save.
And not only that, he gets up quickly as well, doesn't he?
He's 6'7" or something.
Look, Ozil's there, ready to pounce.
Such a strong hand.
Yeah, it's a great save. I mean, he gets a bit of luck, don't get me wrong, off both posts and then comes back to him, but he deserved that luck with that save. That was a great save.
Not the only one he made.
Yeah, this save's more a bit
regulation.
Not regulation, still a very good save, but the other one is that good. It makes this one look ordinary, but it's a fantastic save as well. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I think he's only got 18 months left in his contract. I know his 2 kids live in Madrid, so there's lots of stuff going on about
staying big. We talk about staying big.
Yeah, spreading himself. I mean, we talk about Lacazette maybe as well. His confidence isn't so high as well. Could have lifted it, but from a goalkeeping point of view, it's still a great save. Spreads himself so well. This is another great save because this took a little deflection, and this is sneaking into the post.
Yeah. Alan Shearer was on last night. He was talking about the goalkeepers and saying that sooner or later a keeper's going to go for sort of Van Dijk money, £75 million, because they are that important to the team.
Well, for example, if David De Gea or Courtois went for 75 million this window or in the summer, I wouldn't be thinking, oh, that's too much for a goalkeeper. I think that's the going rate, because they are that important to the team.
I think they're possibly more important than centre-halves. And if we're talking about Van Dijk going for 75 million, Courtois could arguably be 100.
Interesting. We've been talking about this throughout this season, haven't we, about who's the best in the league, and you've always said David De Gea. You keep saying that. I mean, Courtois was brilliant last night, but at Arsenal, so was David De Gea as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, we talked about the Arsenal front three and stuff, and all these clips are showing how good Arsenal are going forward, but some of the saves here, some of the saves, especially the double save coming up shortly, he's in a sense no right to make, but it's just he makes things look easy. That's not an easy save to make, and he makes it look easy. And that's what I always think makes the really great goalkeepers look that good, because some of the lesser keepers make everything look spectacular. He just does what he has to do, gets the job done.
He saves more shots, I think, with his feet and legs than any other keeper I've ever seen.
There was a save at the weekend against Southampton where he went one way and saved and managed to tip it over the bar with his feet. The saves he makes with his feet, as you said, are incredible. And out the two, for me, De Gea tops it.
I'd be interested to see, because obviously Real Madrid, they always say in a Galacticos, you say, or whatever, all these superstars, Ronaldo, Bale, and so. But I do believe that the man you're watching there, David De Gea or Courtois, will be the next Galactico under Real Madrid. Don't know which one.
Who would you put your money on?
I would go with De Gea if I had someone asked me to be a scout for Real Madrid, which I'm afraid if anybody's watching. But for me, he's just phenomenal. If
they go, if either of them went, one of them went, who replaces either of them then? Who's the next one coming up, do you think?
Well, all Black at Atletico, I think, is a fantastic goalkeeper. I mean, I spoke with Jack Butland at Stoke. I think he's not getting much cover this season, conceding lots of goals. But there isn't like a list.
Is there no one I mean, Jordan Pickford's impressed me at Everton this season, and the level he's got to. He's kept Everton in a lot of games this season.
Yeah, he's a fantastic young goalkeeper, still learning his trade, but I can't imagine him moving from Everton for a few years.
The Italian keeper, Donnarumma?
Yeah, he's got a big future as well, and by all accounts, he's not happy with his contract. He signed a contract recently, and he's looking like he wants out of it now. I think he's got one of them super agents involved, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with him as well.
He's top drawer though, isn't he?
Oh, I think he's, for me, as I just mentioned, he's the best keeper in the Premier League. I think Courtois does run him close, but you just see the amount of saves. We're talking about the Arsenal game here, but I can remember more saves De Gea's made this season, and spectacular saves, than any other keeper in the league.
Just lastly, on Arsenal, are you worried about them? Top four this season? I mean, it's slipping away from the...
Well, the big news as well is Sanchez going to stay in the window? With Man City desperately need an North forward, I do believe, and he's the one to go there. Will they keep him? And then we looked at the clips that Morata, had it against Arsenal and other teams this year. Had
chances that they give
chances that they're creating and giving up at the back. They're a bit suspect at the back, so I don't know. It's going to be a close one.
Yeah, I think Arsenal will miss out.
You think it will?
And not only, I think they'll finish sixth. I think the other five are all ahead of them. I think, despite their front three are incredible. As Shay said, they leak too many goals. They give too many chances away. And we just don't know what's going to happen with Ozil and Sanchez and how that will affect them.
OK. Thanks for the moment. We are going to take a short break now.